Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of Birds, Bees, and Beyond. So, episode one will be about where is the world headed based on what's happening today. Not necessarily today, as in COVID times. We know it's going to go to shit if it's COVID, but in general. And I want to kick off this discussion by stating the most legendary thing that has happened in the last 3-4 days, which is the first successful test flight of Starship, the spacecraft that's going to take humanity to Mars. Guys, this is exciting times. We are on our way to another planet. People have been talking about this for decades, and finally, one fellow had balls of steel to pull off a successful test flight at least. Elon Musk, guys, come on. He is
Yeah,
Tony
we
Stark.
got. Yeah, absolutely. We got to appreciate his determination, and he has the strength to go through, and he wants you. He wants the human civilization to succeed
Absolutely,
in
guys.
these distraught times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Done it all on his own. I mean, that is something you need to really appreciate.
exactly, right? Usually
I
you'll
mean,
have
he
like these
started from
founders
nowhere.
and all.
I mean, he started from nowhere, and then he founded PayPal. I think before PayPal also he had a few stuff going.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
sold those.
he started off,
I
I
mean,
think, with a really small like video
small. He
game kind of
started with a
company.
video game. Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right. And then he sold it for like a few dollars or something, and then like that. I mean, he was
it
always
built up.
churning out.
He built it up.
Yeah. So and whatever he was earning, he was not. I mean, spending it on himself. He was again trying to create another thing and build on. Right. So I mean, we need more visionaries like him, basically, if we want to see a
Absolutely.
better future. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
I mean
He's
exactly.
always been a
Like,
very sorry. I mean, he's always been a very insightful guy, isn't he? I mean,
yeah.
he's always been on the lookout for solutions to various problems. So brilliant guy.
That's how
I
we
mean,
move forward, right?
I mean, we have people who complain and complain and keep on complaining, and then there are these guys like this guy, who are like, I mean, give me a problem, I'll try to figure out a solution for this
Speaking
Exactly.
of problems and solutions, guys, pollution.
big
We
problem.
gotta do something about this shit. I think a couple of days earlier, Delhi's chief minister had announced some, like discounts and incentives for electric vehicle usage. And this guy keeps coming out with a lot of these policy, and I think that's a really good first step.
But
Yeah,
on the
even-
contrary, no, I read the news. I don't know if it's true, but I read a news saying that Delhi has cut down the VAT on fuel sales, which has reduced the price of petrol by around 8 or 10 rupees. Now, if they are planning to promote electric vehicles, then this is a counterproductive move to reduce the price of petrol. What do you guys think?
Ultimately it's all about satisfying your vote bank, right? Because a lot of
Yeah.
lot of his vote base involves these rickshaw fellows and those kind of guys. So the cab drivers and all. So probably that is probably got to do with uh, politics more than anything else. I mean,
Thinking along those lines, if your voter bank is mainly auto rickshaws, wouldn't be a good idea for someone to first, in India at least, target electric auto rickshaws and then
yeah,
work their way up?
the thing is, in politics, it's all short term. Like our Indian public, as they say, have a very short memory. So I mean, it's all about what you can, how you can benefit me today.
That's a
You,
problem.
I mean,
But don't they
that,
auto rickshaws run on CNG? Do they run on petrol?
no, they run on
Or
CNG.
is it-
No, they run on CNG.
Okay.
I think I had visited Uttar Pradesh last year, and there were many electric auto rickshaws around. So I think we are making good progress on that regard.
Yeah. So about when you're talking about electricity, of course, the first thing we need to talk about is renewable energy production.
Yeah,
was
yeah,
read- Right? Yeah. Sorry, you were saying?
that's what I'm saying. Like even like no matter even if we move to electric vehicles, ultimately we need to look at the source of production, because even if we're using thermal production,
Exactly.
ultimately it doesn't make sense. I mean, you're going nowhere with it. It's
Absolutely. So that's a
basically,
problem.
and indirectly you're contributing to pollution.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was reading this article about companies that build wind energy farms. So set up windmills in different places. So this article was about a certain kind of opposition these wind energy players are facing. So these guys usually what they do is they first have to acquire a piece of land before they go and put a windmill over there. And the opposition they were facing is two people going there and saying, "यार ये तो अच्छा नहीं लगेगा इधर, अच्छा नहीं दिखता है." And then they go back to the house and start coughing, and full smoke is there, and they're like, "We should do something about this pollution."
Is this some kind of
I
a
mean-
satirical sketch or something?
The article was intended in that way, yes.
Okay.
I mean, you've got to look at the visual appeal also, because the general public is not just going to accept this. Like
Right.
this energy crisis hasn't hit them
Dude, the
like
problem
the
is, like
for
when,
general.
yeah, when everyone comes together in a herd, for some reason, our IQ, reduces exponentially. There's something weird about it.
That's why they say, na, like you should even in a democracy, the government should not really be looking at for like following the public opinion, because the public opinion may not always be right, even
Absolutely, yeah.
if there's kind of a consensus among the larger public, but it may not always be the best choice.
I mean, talking about energy, we don't just have this option of like electric vehicles. We have also this hydrogen fuel cell run vehicles. I mean, that's also an interesting concept to talk about. I think
Definitely.
Toyota has released a car based on this concept.
But these guys have
And
been
also
working on
the
it for a long time.
yeah, yeah. The interesting thing is like the concept of electric vehicles has been around for like more than 100 years.
Right?
And even
Yeah.
even this
Very
hydrogen
interesting.
fuel cell thing has was originated in, I think, some 1950 or something. So I
That's
don't know, like it's been so many years since we have started developing this technology, and yet it hasn't reached anywhere as such on the
Right.
big scale.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's the same thing that Gotham you were saying now, that crowd mentality, they forget very fast, simply.
Right. I know. I mean, but
No,
this comes as a shocker to me. I mean, we've already like been working on this for like you're saying late 19th century, right?
So what
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
was with electric vehicles, we started development in the 1890s. But then the issue is when Henry Ford came out with that legendary Ford Model T of car, which was like very fuel efficient using petrol and all, everyone just switched to that, and it's just been that way ever since.
so guys, I just have a doubt. Forget India. What is the situation in developed European countries?
So in Europe, like I feel like more than the electric vehicle craze, like people have been going to bicycles,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Actually,
Okay.
I mean,
That's
if
what- that's-
you look at cities like Amsterdam, and their roads are filled with bicycles.
Mm.
Like it's amazing to look at.
even the prime minister travels to office in a bicycle.
Yeah, I read that somewhere.
Actually, this is what I was coming to actually about the bicycles thing. Like, in like it's more in India also we also need to adopt this bicycle craze, because I mean it helps both ways. One, it's pollution free, and I mean at least for nearby purposes, I mean as well. So
Yeah.
it's a win-win that way, and plus it's also energy saving and energy efficient.
That's all.
But the problem here again is, see, I mean it's all about the mindset. I mean, there's a stigma surrounding it. Like people at least in cities we will find like a normal middle class person will be very hesitant to ride a bicycle and travel. He would rather
Bro,
prefer.
this bicycle. You guys remember I used to go to work in a bicycle?
I
Bro,
know,
second day
Uh,
of riding a bicycle, I got into an accident. One auto guy came and hit me, and he just kept going. He didn't even stop.
I mean, it's not at all safe in like Indian roads and stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem.
No, that's it. Remember, I even asked you that time. So, do you know any other guy in your office who travels in a bicycle?
Nobody, and people look at me with ridicule. Like when I say I come in a bicycle, they're like, "Chee, yeah, what are you doing?"
Because I remember during my childhood, I used to ride bicycle a lot. But beyond that, nobody adopts a bicycle. Like once they reach a certain age.
I think the problem is not just with these bicycles, but the whole mindset of people. It hasn't really struck them that we are about to enter an energy crisis. Like
Yeah, like
we,
people,
yeah,
because they
the-
can't really see that whole global warming thing happen.
I think in Lucknow, I think in Lucknow, when the SP government was in power, I mean, if you know, their election symbol is a bicycle. So when they were in power and when Akhilesh Yadav was the chief minister, they started this dedicated bicycle routes across Lucknow. I mean, obviously they had other agendas also because, like I said, it's more about promoting their own party. But
Is it still there now?
I mean, I guess the roots are still there, but I don't know how successful it turned out to be because again, see, unless and until you don't change the mindset of the people, this won't work. No matter how much infrastructure you build, as long as the stigma stays, the problem is going to stay.
Yeah, this whole thing about people forgetting major issues very quickly has been there forever. This bicycle thing, then the whole electricity thing, then even if you think about it, the whole space race craze that humanity went through during the Apollo 11 missions to moon from 1969 for the next decade. Everyone was just crazy about space. Yeah, bro, we're going to colonize space, we're going to do everything, and then people forgot about it.
Because
And
again,
then-
there was a lot of competition between US and USSR at that point.
Which is
And,
weird. Like it's always these sort of militaristic things that have made us move forward as a civilization.
So yeah, coming back to the solar energy, I think for the past 5-6 years, we've grown leaps and bounds in terms of production via solar energy, right?
Yeah. So
So I think we're in the right direction right now.
absolutely. Like India currently has two of the largest solar power plants in the world.
I think one was recently inaugurated, right? By the Prime Minister.
I know there's one in Tamil Nadu and one in Andhra
Right.
Pradesh, and these are like in the top 5 in terms of size and production output.
You mean a single location?
Yeah.
even I heard that there's an upcoming 100 megawatt project for the OTEC, that's OTEC, that's Ocean Thermal Energy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of those innovative ones.
So what is that exactly?
So they basically use the temperature difference between the water on the surface level and the water below. So the water on the surface level is heated up by the sun, but the water down is cold. So they send ammonia, which has a lower cooling point than water. So it takes less energy to produce this energy. So it's more energy efficient that way. So they turn it into steam and convert it into energy basically. Yeah. So I heard there's an upcoming 100 megawatt project of this.
In
And
India.
yeah.
Oh wow.
So
Very
this,
interesting.
yeah, but the problems with these are this OTEC works only in the equatorial region where there's a lot of sunlight, and India is like the perfect place for this because it has a vast coastline too, and it has a vast amount of sun available.
By like humanity has gone crazy with this energy generation thing. Like kuch bhi, like difference hai na, हाँ energy le lenge.
Becoming like this Marwadi, like full vasool karna hai, whatever we have.
Exactly. Just grab everything you can.
Yeah, so
This-
Gokul, you were telling me something about this Dyson sphere thing. Like they're gonna take.
Right.
That's like the complete
That's the shit,
Vasuli thing.
So there's this one fellow called Kardashev, some probably Russian fellow from the name. he sort of created this thing called the Kardashev scale for civilizations. Originally, it had three levels, but some people have extended it to 5 levels. So a level 1 civilization on the Kardashev scale basically means that that civilization, like for example, humanity, can harness the entire energy that Earth as a planet provides. A level 2 civilization can harness everything that the sun and the entire solar system, and a level 3 civilization can harness, for example, if it's humanity, can harness the entire energy of the Milky Way. So what Ram was saying about the Dyson sphere is this concept where you surround the sun with a sort of energy harnessing device. So the entire sun is covered and you absorb every inch of energy that the sun is outputting.
That's like the ultimate Vasuli.
Yeah, bro. Like forget
like-
Earth, like sun hai na, हाँ उधर से भी ले लेंगे.
Speaking of Vasuli, how efficiently are we capturing the energy? For example, I mean, energy from these renewable sources right now. So is there any wastage? Is there any scope for improvement?
Yeah, there's a lot of scope for improvement. Like even if you talk about solar energy, which is like, you know, the most prominent source of renewable energy, we have a conversion efficiency of like I think 50 to 60%. So there's huge amounts for levels of improvement that can be done.
Yeah, but there's again a lot of need for research and development.
And
Yeah.
you know, like with all
But
these
with-
huge oil and
Yeah.
gas companies, there's a lot of lobbying involved. Like they don't want all this.
Let's see, again, that's probably the reason we still don't have electric vehicles.
And in general, like as Indians, we tend to look at cost efficiency, the mileage that the vehicle
Kitna
provides.
deti hai?
Yeah, exactly.
Worried that they might be stuck somewhere and there might not be a charging point nearby.
Yeah, charging
Yeah.
stations are a huge issue. That's like one of the like
That's
biggest
one.
issues, right? You want like continuous
Yeah.
access, like you don't want to be stranded anywhere.
Yeah, but I think
That's what.
charging points, we can take advantage of this huge petrol and diesel network that we have created in the world and then use it for an electric station, or
That's-
in the case
yeah.
of hydrogen fueled cars, as a hydrogen station. I mean,
That's-
we have
But
this
then again,
huge network available. Yeah.
But then again, the problem is, unlike a petroleum-based vehicle, where I just go to a petrol pump, fill in the petrol, and then go on my way. For charging an electric vehicle, I would require a sufficient amount of time that I keep it on charge, which is
Yeah.
Yeah, I
that's
think
a good point.
Google had
which is a big problem.
I think
See, we already have such a huge line
Yes.
at petrol pumps just to fill petrols. Imagine what kind of chaos it will be if we have electric stations at the petrol pump net. I mean, you're talking about the petrol pump network. So imagine the quantum of this problem.
Yeah. So
I
so
think
I'll tell you.
Gokul had a
Yes.
very brilliant solution to this
to
problem.
be completely
Yeah.
honest, I saw this from another company, and they haven't implemented it. They have implemented it only in Taiwan yet, so it's not there anywhere else. And the concept is, instead of having charging stations, you go and set up battery stations where you go up to the battery station, you take out your empty battery and then replace it with a fully charged one. Instant 10-second thing.
Instant.
Like basically the taking the अपना gas cylinder wala earlier the gas cylinder wala model.
That same thing, like
Just replacing
replacing
the cylinder.
yeah, replacing
The
batteries
gas
in a
cylinder.
remote.
I mean,
I think the more our population increases, the more educated minds we have working on a solution for this crisis.
I think you have a lot of other things to say about overpopulation.
You guys must have seen Endgame, Avengers Endgame.
Bro, I have to tell right now, I'm a Thanos supporter, okay? Like, I support Thanos.
Yeah. So, do you think Thanos' plan would have worked? I want to ask you all. Do you think Thanos' plan would have worked? Is it a solution to our overpopulation crisis?
It might not be the most nice solution,
Might
but
not
it's a
be-
solution.
I want to elaborate a bit on this. So, on 22nd August of this year, we have something called an Earth Overshoot Day. So it's a day where basically humans have overshot consumption of resources as much as the Earth has produced in a single year. So on August 22nd, we would overshoot the amount of resources consumed that were produced on Earth. So this has been, we have recorded this date for many years. So last year it was on 29 July. The year before that it was on 1st August, and the one before that on 2nd. So it's been gradually decreasing. So that's a bad sign.
So
This year we have
basically, you're
improved for
saying
some
that.
reason.
So basically, you're saying that we have a quota per year that we are sort of allowed
Yeah.
to use, but we always overshoot.
Yeah. Yeah. And that has been worsening year on year. Actually, this year is a good year actually compared to other years. And also, one thing is population had been stable for like 10,000, more than 10,000 years. Only after the industrial revolution, did our population like rapidly start to increase. Like we only reached 1 billion people in, I think 1804. And then it took us another 123 years to reach the second billion, 33 years to reach the third billion, 14 years, 13 years, 12 years, and so on. And
So
currently we are
the doubling
currently
rate.
we are at currently we are at 7.8 billion. And like if this goes on, we'll reach like 10 billion by 2050. The question
power
is,
of,
can our
The power of
Yeah.
compounding.
Power
bro.
of compounding.
So the question is, can our planet handle so many people? Does it have the resources?
Bro, I'm telling you, we need this. We need a snap from Thanos, and we will be good.
Yeah, this COVID pandemic currently is helping, kind of helping that mission, isn't it?
Yes. I don't know if it's we should say this on
Eliminating
camera,
the-
but
It's kind of like a
At least
stabilizing
I
factor.
mean, but at least it's helping the. I mean, it's helping the environment. I mean, people are locked up at home. I mean, so that
Zero
way there's less
emissions.
pollution.
Yeah, but the thing is, I read a research paper, and like it's when you say overpopulation, you always think of it as a negative thing, like, right? So this research paper, it completely blew my mind. It said that since we have since we have had increase in our population, poverty has gone down, GDP or prosperity has increased, global food production has increased, our IQs have increased, the global education rate has increased, and now starvation is not only that starvation is not a problem, but obesity has suddenly become a problem nowadays.
But is that a function of population increasing, or is that due to other factors?
You mean technological
Due to other factors, but-
development?
Yeah, because like you said,
Economic
after
progress.
industrial revolution is when we started really blowing up our population. That's because
Yeah.
like when you give humans comfort, no, like what do? You sit at home, let's reproduce. Nothing else.
And
is.
also the thing is, we have like vastly improved our healthcare system.
Yeah.
So like before the industrial era, families used to produce like 10-15 children, and they'd be like, at least इसमें से दो तो जिंदा रहेंगे.
Exactly, that's the thing. Mortality rate.
But yeah, and now it's like there's no need for like 5, 6, 7 children nowadays. And like this has been a trend in developed countries. They've already reached this stage, and like India and like developing countries nowadays are like in that population boom stage. We'll reach that stabilizing stage eventually.
I hope so, man. Because otherwise, like the only person who's going to save us is Musk. Like we have to colonize some other planet.
I think it's also
See, that's
positive that
again-
our current rate of growth, that is year on year, the population growth rate has been decreasing recently. Yeah, so it's a positive. I think we are reaching that plateau stage where our population finally stabilizes.
It's definitely a good thing.
See, it's
Yeah.
always it's always been about how economically well off and how prosperous a region is that has determined the population more than anything else. Because if you see the ancient times, India and China, I mean these regions were already a well-developed they already had a well-developed civilization, and I mean we had an abundance of natural resources compared to see other parts of the world, so which were more primitive at that point of time. So that is why a good chunk of we had always had a huge civilization. See, another point, I mean I didn't read this in a research paper per se, but I heard this the same point that he was talking about uh, from uh, from I think it was in one of the speeches of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He also made the same point. He was like, a lot of people say India is overpopulated. We have 125 crore people, which is a liability. But I wouldn't see it as a liability. I see this more as we have 130 crore resources who can help me in developing this nation.
Absolutely.
I think a planet definitely has the capability to support such a huge population. It's just how much developed are we to utilize these planet's resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
see, ultimately, like it's like how Mahatma Gandhi once said, "The earth is enough for man's needs, but not man's greeds." So it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For non-Indians who are viewing this video, we have to bring up Gandhi as Indians.
He's the one Indian which everyone across the world knows.
Yeah, bro.
Right.
Gandhi for life. Okay, yeah. So guys, before we wind this up, I want to talk about one last thing, which is the development of the transportation system of humanity. Like how transport has evolved over time.
Everything started from a
Rockets.
wheel, right? So everything was because of this humble invention of that time.
Absolutely. You have to give it to the guy who thought of it. Nobody
I
knows
mean,
no who
yeah, I
invented the wheel.
mean, yeah, we don't know. I guess. I mean, in history
I
books we
feel sorry
study
for the guy. Like I wish we had a name so we
one
could
of the
give him something.
one of the greatest inventions
I swear to
ever.
God,
You could
this guy had to think of it. Like you had to rack your brain for this kind of stuff. Like he's never seen anything like it before.
same principle that we use in each and every development till date in the transportation sector, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Whoever you are, we thank you from the bottom of our heart.
Amen, brother. Like whoever you are, thank you. I wanted to just talk about this one thing when it came to transportation, something very interesting that I read called the Machete's constant. So the Machete's constant is equal to 1 hour. And Machete's constant basically states that average commute time for a person throughout history has always remained constant or averaged out at 1 hour. Like when you think about it logically, it makes sense because, as our cities grew and we started traveling long distances, our means of traveling long distances has also become faster. So it's sort of like, averaged out and keeps balancing each other. And then Ram, remember you were saying something against that. You can only grow up to an amount, right? What if you develop the entire all the land on the planet,
And then you had an interesting response to that.
which
You
was
can always reclaim land,
you could always we didn't think of
and
that.
you can also
could-
and you can also redevelop, right? I mean, there's always a lot of redevelopment also that we see.
yeah,
People demolish structures and develop things again
that's a
in a better way.
redevelopment, right? But like when you're talking about transportation and traveling, that won't make much of a difference.
No, see, that way we already have that, right? For example, the Indian Railways. Earlier, it was majorly. Outside of Mumbai, I don't think we had electric lines along the rail tracks. And I mean, there was always this narrow gauge, and then we've converted it largely to the broad gauge system.
And now you have the
So it
Mumbai
was the
Ahmedabad.
same. Basically, it's the same network, right?
Courtesy of Japan.
So when are the commercial operations expected to be able to do?
I mean, as of the latest report that I read, they have acquired 60% of the land necessary for construction. They haven't started construction. So they need to acquire the rest 40%, which is supposed to be at an advanced stage of, initiation. But once
Yeah.
that happens, hopefully
Okay.
construction should start very fast.
I just hope there's minimum political roadblocks.
Yeah, bro, that's a problem.
This-
Politics, no.
Yeah. In India, it's such a drag. In conclusion, I'd like to what I'd like to say is that we need to be hopeful, and first of all, we need to like share this, educate people on what is going on what
Absolutely.
will happen if we continue like this,
Mm-hmm.
and then each of us has to individually contribute to this how much ever we can. It doesn't matter, because at this rate, it seems inevitable.
Absolutely. We need to be hopeful for the future. That's I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not all we can do. We can definitely do something as individuals about it.
Yeah.
But
But we also
yeah,
need to be hopeful.
absolutely.
So to quote Shawshank Redemption, hope is a good thing. We are going through very tough times right now, but then when we always think about the future, we always think of it in a very positive way. We are very optimistic about future. I mean,
Absolutely.
not just now, at any point of time.
We are humans, bro. We always pull through. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. It's our first episode, hopefully, first of many to come. We have to apologize. There might be production difficulties and editing difficulties here and there because it's our first time. But please do comment, like, share, subscribe, comment on kind of topics you would want to hear about in future episodes. Yes. So thank you, guys. Thank you for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure. See you next time.